Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Sunday, March the 7th, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. So today I have boated up just maybe 200 yards above the Narrows right now. Kind of setting out in the middle, sitting in about 7.5 foot of water here, and I'm right below the bottom of the golf course. And today I'm going to try something I haven't done in quite a while, and that's going to be a jig, a PJ's Finesse micro jig. This is their 1/50th ounce jig. It is a all sculpin with a brown head. I've got a #1 split shot about 13 or 14 inches above, and I've got it set at about roughly 6.5 foot deep. I know I'm fishing about 8 foot of water, so just trying to keep that fly kind of right there in that first or the last 2 foot of the water. I've got that on 6X tippet down near the fly. This is on a 5-weight 4-piece 9-foot rod. And this is something that can work pretty good when the water's running slower or off, for that matter. Today they're running just right at like 2,700 cubic feet per second, so about 3/4 of 1 unit. If the water was running a half unit or slower, I wouldn't even use the split shot on there. I would just let that 50th ounce swing down to the bottom. It would be enough. Here comes Dwayne up on my left right now. We're doing the one cast.
Are you catching any?
I have not caught any. I'm still on my first cast though.
Get it.
So I talked to Dwayne, who just went by, on my way up here, and they are also fishing small jigs under a float. And he said that they have caught about 3 fish so far, and he said that all of his bites came down here in the channel of the Narrows. It's beautiful, 67, 68 degrees today. Bluebird skies, just a couple clouds. Couldn't really ask for a better Sunday to be fishing. So when you're doing this jig under a float method, you kind of really got to pay attention to your water depth changing, because as it gets shallower or deeper, I want to set that jig so it's still hanging there in that first 1 or 2 foot off the bottom of the lake. And I'm just going to go ahead and say no fish on the first cast. Fishing reports for the day. Like I said, Dwayne said that he just got his trip started not too long ago, and he said that they've caught a few so far on the jig and the float. A gentleman below me here said that he caught one right at 20 inches on a white jig. I believe he was fishing this bluff when he caught it. I'm not sure. Let's see, the dock fishing. Had a few people fishing off the dock today, a little slower, but I think they were still catching a few on night crawlers. And I saw Captain Steve Dickey out on my way up here, and he was just fishing with his family tonight, and they were spot locked right out in the middle, kind of below Short Creek, and they were catching them on night crawlers. I think they had one in the boat and 2 more reeling in fish, so sounds like night crawlers were definitely working down there. Something I like to do when I'm fishing the jig under the float, I'll cast it out a little farther versus, like, you know, whenever I'm fishing let's say a scud, I don't usually cast them very far. I just kind of lob them next to the boat. But when I'm fishing a jig under a float, I will cast it out farther and leave myself some room to kind of wiggle the indicator and pull it back in a little bit, kind of get a little extra action on that jig. Oh, it's on now. That was the gentleman there that was telling me he caught a 20-incher on the white jig. And just like when drifting anything on your fly rod, you always want to make sure that you're keeping your line mended and trying to keep the boat drifting at the same speed as your indicator and the current. Nothing changes there. I'm coming up on the narrows here, so I'm going to take, let's just say about 1.5 foot out of it, and we'll go about 4 foot there. It's okay if that jig drags the bottom a little bit. However, it will cause you to have to continuously mend your line. Your line, not lined. But if you're doing this, don't be afraid to really move that indicator around, wiggle it, pull it in a little bit. Just give that jig some extra action. Fish tend to like that kind of thing. Still, for the most part, other than that 3 units they ran the other day for a moment, still for the most part have been seeing these 1 unit and half unit flows, so the water's nice and clear and shallow and slow, so you still need those 2-pound lines and 6x tippets to make sure that the fish can't see what you're throwing at them. I'm gonna scoot my boat out, try to get right out here on the outside of the channel, and maybe get my jig right over that drop off here in the channel that goes through the narrows. If I had some more time, I'd definitely play around with different colors here on the jig, but I do know that most of the time when I do this, either the Sculpin and Peach, Sculpin and Ginger, or the all Sculpin jigs work a fair amount of the time when they're biting a jig under a float. Little slower today. Still some people out enjoying the lake, and still had some boat rentals today, but not anything near like we had this weekend. It was a very busy weekend. So right through the narrows, there's a channel here that you can drive your boat through, and then it flattens up kind of where my boat's at right now, and I'm attempting to keep my jig right on the edge of that drop off. Oh, that was a fish. Darn it. Well, there's one miss. To me, this is just about perfect weather. It's a little bit below 70. Sunny. And there is practically no wind out here right now. This jig under a float isn't something just for the trophy area either. This is something that works all around the lake. Down in the, really just about everywhere you can float it reasonably, unless you're fishing 40 foot of, 20 foot of water. So having that split shot on there also allows me to wiggle that thing and keep it kind of closer to the bottom, because if you pull on it too much and it didn't have extra weight, it would kind of lift up and then it would take a while to get back down near the bottom. But that extra weight allows me to do that and still keep it in the zone. Oh, there was a hit. Well, finding a few takers here. And I think I'll drift to the end of the island here. Couple herons fighting over here. So here in a second, as we approach the flat on the front of Eagle Island, I'll probably want to shallow that up again just a touch, because I think the area I'm fishing here really doesn't get much deeper than 3 foot. Well, I may not find a fish today, but I can promise that this is a good method to try out if you come out here to fish. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with these herons over here, but now there's 7 or 8 of them, and they are all chasing each other around the trees. And I can hear an eagle now, so maybe an eagle has something to do with it. There's a few fish midging over here in the shallower part of the water, and I'm cast over there and see if I can trick one of them. Looks like I lost my split shot too sometime. See, the bank has dropped just about a foot since I started the one cast, so looks like they are slowing the water down just a little more. Come on, just one fish. Somebody's looks like a Barbie rod there on the bottom of the lake. If I had a different rod, I'd go over there and catch it, but alright, I'm gonna call it 1 more minute. Looks like the fish might win today. It might be that this finesse jig is just a little too big. I maybe could have gone with a Turner's micro jig, which is just a lot smaller in profile. But you just never know. But we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll get out here and do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.